SEO is an industry in constant flux. Rules change, platform shift, and what worked yesterday may fail tomorrow. But there are leaders who not only adapt but shape the way forward. Today, as part of our road to CERCONF Vienna 2025, I'm thrilled to welcome Christiane Kunisch. Christiane is the founder and managing director of One Beyond Search, a Munich-based agency redefining what future-proof SEO means. With more than a decade of hands-on experience, she has led teams, advised global corporations, and become known for her ability to turn even the most complex SEO topics into clear, compelling stories. She's also a panelist at this year's CERCONF Vienna, where she'll be joining the discussion on Outlaw SEO behind the SEO stage. Together, we'll explore future-proof strategies, the power of pragmatism, and maybe even a glimpse into the world of grey hat SEO. Let's dive in. So, Chrissy, it's a pleasure to have you here. Welcome. Thank you so much.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good morning. So, let's start with something personal about your agency. It's One Beyond Search. What's the story behind that name? What does Beyond Search mean to you and your team?
Yeah. Well, basically, when we were trying to find a name, you inevitably come across the challenge that every wordplay in combination with SEO has already been taken. So you have to get creative. And what we knew we wanted was to incorporate the one into the name because this is the name of our former agency where we all started working together. And so this is kind of the legacy part of our name, if you will. And so we needed something to add to one. And yeah, so a lot of brainstorming and ChatGPTing later. I came across Beyond Search, and I kind of instantly liked that because yeah, it kind of captures the spirit. It kind of captures what is going on right now. Like, it is so disruptive. You have to go beyond what you used to do as an SEO. And at the same time, it is very practical to us because it does not limit us to being an SEO agency forever because we already have SEO in our name. So we don't know if there was something in the future that we might add to our portfolio or whatever. So yeah, so it all came together with Beyond Search. And I think if I look around, reading, I don't know, conference announcements, articles, everything is beyond keywords, beyond traffic, beyond. And this is kind of showing me that we probably picked the right name because beyond is like what's going on right now.
Yeah, actually, I really love it. And as you just said, there is we are right now in the beyond era. You are talking about SEO. I don't know if you have tried different names with GEO, maybe, or you just discharged everything like that.
Well, I currently use GEO because that is what my clients and the people around use me a lot. So it kind of saves the confusion, but I'm fine with either way. If the SEO world decides to go with something else, I just follow. Like, I don't care as long as both parties know what we're talking about. So yeah.
Yeah, that's the key. So, but one thing you say in your homepage is SEO is dead, one is back. I don't know if you can unpack that for us. What exactly is that?
Um, yeah, that is kind of also when we were brainstorming claims and planning our launch, we were kind of anticipating that some people might say that we're a little crazy to found an SEO agency in a time where it is yet again the big question if SEO is that for real. And so we chose to exactly use that to use SEO is dead and then crossing out the word dead, yeah, kind of combine two things because we wanted to say SEO is not dead. Of course, we wouldn't have founded a company if you truly believed this time it would be dead for real. But at the same time, that we are back because there used to be an agency called One, and now we kind of revived that in a different version, and we're back as One, and so it captures both. So we are here to show that SEO is not dead, and we used to be known as One and now back as One are here to prove that in some way. So that is kind of the combination of SEO is dead, One is back, and it kind of rhymes, which is cool, of course. So we just went with that.
Yeah, I really love it. Yeah, it's really good. And one of the things we are noticing here in this era, new era, let's say with GEO, SEO, whatever you want to call it, but there is a lot of testing, experimenting right now, like we didn't have for the last years. And you've spoken about the power of testing in technical SEO.
Mhm.
Can you share an example of where testing either save a strategy from going wrong or reveal an unexpected opportunity?
Um, well, probably lots of projects where that happened. When I think about the talk I gave about testing, I picked a case which is like, I don't know, 1 or 2 years old, I guess. And it was like a really basic task. My client asked me to give him a list of all the image links because I think they were updating the site because of a portfolio change or something. And so I started my crawl and I instantly saw like, this is strange. Like it only picks like 5% of the images. Something's off. And I told my client, okay, we need to look into this. This is very, very strange. And basically, I set up like a duplicate test environment, having the exact same image tag implementation they used at the time. They were using lots of placeholder images for page speed reasons and so on. And well, long story short, at the end, it came out that this kind of setup makes your images more or less invisible to Google. And so combining that with like really buggy image sitemap and stuff, like, yeah, we were left with actually no relevant images being indexed, I think like maybe 10 or something. And this was actually perfect timing to find that out because we were just planning the CMS relaunch, like changing the platform. And so we had like this really easy case to go to our stakeholders and say, okay, we need a change of implementation. We need something else. And there was like no discussion. Like they just saw that, and it was very, very easy to get this kind of bigger task in halfway through because they saw like the urgency of that. So sometimes it's just your concept of proof to tell someone, hey, I tested it again and it is not working. Yeah.
In that sense, what do you think about the state of SEO experimentation compared, let's say, to 5 years ago?
Mm, I think, like, of course, I see a lot more testing, I guess, but I don't know if it's really more testing or just more people talking about it. Because it gives them some kind of relevance now that everything is changing. I mean, compared to 5 years ago, the one thing that has never changed is like that it gives you or it teaches you like very valuable skills that you can just not learn from reading,
Mhm.
but for doing it yourself. And yeah, I think there's so much more new territory to cover, and so really understanding the platforms, interacting with them, and I think that's very crucial. So maybe more people got the hint. Now's the time to test for yourself and to not rely on what others have found, but like really get a deeper understanding by really, I don't know, touching the technical stuff. And yeah, not relying on what others have said. I think maybe people are starting to get that is very important. Maybe that's why it's accelerating.
Okay, but do you think maybe right now, nowadays, we have to take everything we read online, we heard online, with a pinch of salt, like, or it's more or less the same? Is that, yeah, I think you agree in that regard.
Yeah, yeah, I think so because not every so-called test is a real test or has like a significant um uh outcome, because I don't know, maybe the methods were not flawless, and like there's so many things to consider. So if you read something, I mean, there's probably sources that you trust because you know they have done really good work in the past, and you take that for granted what they say. And then there's other way you really have to look into this. Okay, what were they actually testing? Is that relevant to me? Did they leave
Mm.
out half the stuff? Whatever. Like there were big numbers, and then it turned out it was only desktop numbers, and I'm like, yeah, okay. So you just really, really double check and yeah, really see what you're looking at. Yeah.
Yeah, I see. Well, for what you say and how you talk about, it comes to mind another word you use a lot in your website is pragmatic. What does that pragmatism look like in day-to-day decision making?
Yeah, true. Uh, I'm so all about pragmatic that I even wrote an article once about that, just to air my thoughts. I think pragmatic can be a lot of things. Basically, for me, it always means to, yeah, basically achieve the maximum output that you can measure. That is the crucial part. You need to measure what you've done, and with the available resources, of course, as always. So I think it's about prioritizing what will really have impact, and what will really have impact on the numbers you or maybe your client needs to report to their boss. So don't get lost in tasks that you just read in your SEO best practice book or whatever. I think sometimes always people, they try to stick to a checklist because it makes them feel them safe, or I don't know. And at the meantime, there's like thousands of euros going down the drain for changing H3 to H4 or whatever. Um, yeah, that's maybe a side to it. And then of course, pragmatic also means that you need to even help your client if there's only very little budget available. So maybe help them help themselves, and then you need to go with approaches that are good enough for now. Like you can't always stick to perfect solutions and hanging on. And of course, you need some experience for that, because you need to know like which threads you can pull and which makes the whole thing come undone. Like you, of course, need to choose wisely what can be left out for now. And pragmatic maybe could also be to tell your client that what they're asking you to do is pointless. Like maybe they're approaching SEO upside down. I don't know. So yeah, it can be unconventional sometimes to be pragmatic, I guess. Also because, like I said before, sometimes you're asked to help like in the middle of a project, and then you have to work with what you were given. Like you can't set up the perfect relaunch process or whatever. You just have to go with it. And so, yeah, I guess baseline pragmatic means always focusing on the real impact that can be measured. Like never focus on the 100% solution where it's not necessary. Like you just empty a screaming fork report, and now you don't have, I don't know, any missing alt text for irrelevant images or something like that. Like that won't earn you like a single dollar in your shop. And so focus on what really matters. I think that is my whole be pragmatic approach and leave out all the fuss.
Okay, so can we say that testing meta description is not pragmatic?
Probably, as Google will pick its own most of the time. So yeah, exactly stuff like that. If I read like audits with you have like 1,700, I don't know, 30 URLs with meta descriptions that are too long, I'm like, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're talking about optimizing resources for a project, a client, and you build a reputation for turning complex SEO concepts into compelling narratives. Could you maybe walk us through your process? How do you take something as technical as a log file analysis and make it resonate with a CMO or CEO, for example?
Well, yeah. I've been part of the core pitch team in my former agency for years, so that kind of teaches you to wrap SEO topics in like stories. And this, of course, on different levels. Like sometimes you're pitching in front of the head of SEO, which takes like a completely different approach than convincing a CEO that is further away from the topic, of course. And I think my approach is like to always find a way to make what you're trying to say understandable and directly link it to a metric that is important to your audience. So for a CEO, that would always be the money he earns with this shop, nothing else. And so you always have to find a way to combine those two things. I mean, for a log file analysis, depending on what you want to achieve with that, I would probably argue something. I don't know. First, make them understand what it's all about. I don't know. Maybe we need to sort out the requests that are made to our server because we want to prioritize the important ones and maybe block some unnecessary ones, whatever, to save money and to preserve the capacity for real users that want to convert. And then you maybe have to draw something like a picture that is adaptable. Like you would tell the CEO to imagine he's having like a really expensive TV campaign running, and then there's like this instant loan on the server because everybody's going to the site, and then it just breaks down, or it's just serving requests that are not those users seeing the TV campaign, and then your marketing budget is up in flames. And yeah, and then you have to draw the picture like that. Maybe people are even so frustrated that your TV campaign had like a negative impact because they wanted to access the site, they wanted to buy, but they couldn't. And so you make it very relatable, very easily to understand for the CEO why this is a problem. Like you want to leave that guy with I don't know what a log file analysis completely is, but I want one done. Like this is what you want. And I think that is how I try to approach making that relatable, even if they couldn't care less about log file analysis. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. And for example, for my side, there are a lot of clients that are listening, like with Geo or I want to appear in ChatGPT and so on, and they are actually demanding proactively things that maybe is they are not so useful for them. So it's something we can, with these arguments, we have to argue what has to be done and what doesn't have to be done. Actually,
Exactly. Yeah.
that's a good point. And let's tackle the big claim I have read with this pragmatic SEO, also future-proof SEO. Do you believe it's really possible, or is it more about future-proofing the mindset rather than the tactics?
That is such a good question. Like I think looking at the past years, I think always going with the kind of a logic approach, like
Hmm.
what will benefit your users, has always been future proof. Like maybe in some regards, it took some time to get the reward for staying on the path. Some Google updates later, and then finally it worked, but it never backfired. So I guess this staying updated, keep on testing things, and like holding on to that somewhat logic approach. What do I mean by logic? I think a logic approach is always two things. And for me, it is how is the system you're trying to be visible in working, like from a technical point of view? What is the technical process behind it? You really have to understand it. Otherwise, you can't really act purposefully, I think. And then no matter if it's Google or a large language model. So really understand the technical process behind it, and then combine it with what do my users really need? What are they looking for? How can I give it to them? And I mean, first, it sounds a lot easier than it might be sometimes in real life. But I believe that is the most future-proof approach that you can take, like staying up to date on the technical side of things and with what your users want and not what you think they want. And of course, you got to be open. Like you got to embrace it no matter what. Like you need to learn new things, even if you're very experienced senior SEO. And I think that's obvious, but being an SEO, or at least trying to be a good one, I guess, you always had to keep up and keep on learning. And so I think that should come most naturally to most of us. So I think
Okay.
that is the way to go, future proof in some way.
Hmm. And with that learning, maybe you get close to that Outlaw SEO, because you will be part of the Outlaw SEO panel at CERConf in Vienna. And when you hear the term Outlaw SEO, what comes to your mind? Is it about breaking rules, redefining them, or simply refusing to follow updated playbooks?
Well, I gotta say that the term outlaw was exactly what caught my attention when I was being asked to join. um, because I thought it sounded really exciting. Well, I think outlaw can be probably anything. I think currently it might be, as you said, outlaw enough to dare to break with like old rules and not to desperately hang on to old business models.
Hmm.
And but I still see a lot of avoidance. Like there is like some people where there's still like a little hope that it will go away. I'm not sure. But apart from that, we will see again a lot of wild tactics in the upcoming months.
Hmm.
And I think that's how it's always been. Like there's a reason why there's an actual term, black hat. So I think it's gonna stay that way, I guess. And even if it's just like grayish or something, we all try things and then they work until they don't, and then you find new things, and sometimes like a temporary win can win a lot of ecom money. But no, I'm not advocating at all any super risky stuff or something like that. But I think it's like you said, it's about refusing to just do what everybody else does. Like think and again test for yourself, and you might be surprised what you find. And so what I can say, it's always good to have projects where you can go a little wild, like not take any chances on your client's project, but have like your own sites, and then you can, I don't know, embrace your inner outlaw in a safe space, where you can just try some stuff. Yeah.
Okay, you're talking about not really taking risks for your clients, but I have heard that you promise a little gray hat sneak peek. I don't know if you can give us one teaser without getting anyone in trouble.
I was very laughing at that question because I was just saying I'm open to talk about it.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But yeah, I mean, have there been measures in the past that were in a somewhat grayish area? Yes. But like I said, those were always tested on sites that were specifically for that purpose, to test things, and if they work, transfer it to important domains, and if not, just try the next thing. And I think apart from that, we were always very cautious to just try things that if they stop working, they stop working, but they don't impact anything other in a very negative way. So I don't know, playing with structured data that, I don't know, mark stuff that is good, and don't mark stuff that it's, I don't know if you have experience with I don't know, for how do you call it, if you rate product ratings, exactly. So trying stuff that, what happens if you only mark ratings that are, I don't know, 4 stars and more, and if you don't mark stuff like that, you just test it and you see what happens.
Yeah.
It maybe works, maybe it doesn't. So that's kind of just a playful way of trying to see if it even has an impact, stuff like that. But yeah, I think currently we're playing it pretty white hat. So I think, yeah, but I think about it until Vienna. Maybe something comes to mind, or we try new things, and then I will let you know.
Yeah, yeah, I would love to. I will add some text here that don't try this at home and so with your clients, just to be sure. And you're often introduced as a technical SEO expert. I have seen in some places. Do you still feel that that label represents you, or is it time to rewrite, your own SEO tagline?
Well, I worked really hard to be recognized as a technical
Oh, yeah,
SEO,
yeah, yeah. So
so I
don't
love
worry.
that. I
I
love that.
will put that label on your name. Don't worry.
No, I'm open to new suggestions, so I'm not stuck with that. Yeah, but I'm perfectly fine with it, because I think sometimes these kind of labels can help you to determine what someone specializes in. I mean, like, we're all SEOs, but I don't know, maybe someone specializes in off-page SEO. So this is an important thing to know, because it's different. Or someone specializes in, I don't know, local SEO. I think some SEO disciplines are just not present in every project. So maybe you have years of experience, but not real experience with, I don't know, off-page SEO, for example. And so I think this can be kind of helpful if you have that kind of label. And I think I consider someone being in tech SEO being really really into the tech stuff, or maybe can code for themselves or something. So yeah, and I think this can also help, because others may be focusing on more the content side of things, or the off-page kind of things, and that kind of differs. So yeah.
Do you think every SEO professional needs a label, or can that box us in?
Well, I think, like I said, I think it can help us to determine what someone specializes in, what someone is extremely good at, but I don't think you need a label. I think that is maybe just a personal preference. And if you have the preference to have like an SEO label of some kind, I would just I would just recommend to pick some label that you can deliver on. That might be good, but apart from that, I think that's just personal preference. Yeah.
Okay, okay. I must say that in my research, there is not so much about you online. For example, I asked Google, of course, but I check in Gemini,
Mhm.
and it said there's appears to be a misunderstanding, and there is no publicly known SEO expert by your name. And ChatGPT, it did recognize your name as a technical SEO expert and founder of 1 Billion Search. So maybe you have to work a little bit more with Gemini, not only your level but your name too, because it doesn't know any crazy that works in SEO, just to let you know.
That really hurt, and I tried it myself and I replicated the thing, and if you actually ask for Chrissy, it does know me, which was kind of a relief. But actually, I think I need to work on my full name.
Yes, yes, you should, yeah.
I think I need to link those entities in some way that Google understands it's the same person.
So we are just finishing the interview. Just some last questions. Can you list three specific tasks in your daily SEO work where AI already saves you time, and three where AI still fails you completely?
Well, where it completely saves me so much time is like for of course ideation. Like I'm responsible for marketing and for the most part, and so it gives me like I don't know 50 word plays with the word one in it, like in a minute. Like that saves so much time. Um, and of course, anything vibe coding, like to accelerate your own coding skills in parts where you're not that firm. I just recently started to code Chrome extensions, which is like a kind of different world from what I've done before. So that helps a lot, of course, speeds up the process. And what I also just did, and then I realized, oh yeah, that is so much faster than ever before if you do like kind of a topic clustering, keyword mapping, whatever of some sort, and you work on a topic that you don't know nothing about. In my case, it was like medical terms for different kind of surgeries and stuff. And then you have just like this parallel research giving you the answers. What is the difference between? Is that the same as that? Do you do that in one surgery? Do you like this? Like it would take you so long to find that out by googling it or by and then checking it, and you just have that parallel research and it speeds up the process so much more. So that is really really saving some time. Where it still fails me is kind of frustrating because it fails to um, to properly summarize articles and stuff in a way that the actual core, like the actual reason why this news is exciting, is captured, and not just a random bullet point list that is just blah. Like, like that is just not working. And apart from that, it actually doesn't fail me that much. I mean, of course, we all know that if you're sometimes stuck in a chat and you kind of at this point of no return where it just has gone wrong and you need to pick a fresh start because it's like a dead end. And what I also cannot recommend, I mean, that maybe doesn't surprise nobody, but it's no replacement for a lawyer of some kind of like legal stuff. Just don't do it. That can be risky. You maybe can see topics that you need to look out for or options that you have, but apart from that, just ask your lawyer. But yeah, but I think that is so my day to day up and down with AI.
So I actually I was talking to a colleague the other day, and he was talking. He was saying, "Oh, I'm so grateful with AI because I don't need anymore any loyal lawyers or a professional like that." And I was, "Are you sure you don't need one? Like, are you sure you're taking the advice of ChatGPT for something like that?" Double check, please.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that. No.
No, no. Okay, so I have one last question, and yeah, and another one for the panel that you will be in CERConf. I want to ask you a different question, a little bit unconventional. So, if you had to describe your SEO philosophy using only three emojis, which one would you pick, and what do they stand for?
Um, well, I'm really glad that you gave me that question in advance because it would take me forever to think of that.
I know, I know.
And so I scrolled down the emoji bar and went with like what came to me. So I picked the bar chart, of course. Like it's important to always work with relevant data. And then I picked the graduation hat, like to always keep on
Okay.
learning, staying up to date, and stay curious. And yeah, and then I wasn't
The
sure what
black one, the black hat, you mean?
exactly the black hat. Yeah. Oh, now I get it. I didn't even realize that synchronicity. Okay. That was not the reason, of course. But it
Okay, yeah.
perfectly. Um, and this is great. Um, and I picked actually, which is also kind of suiting right now. I picked the winking smiley, like that one, because I like to approach like everything with a pinch of humor and never take yourself or your SEO job too seriously. So yeah, I think that's important as well. That would
Yeah,
probably be so my approach to SEO, minus the
that's
format.
okay. Okay. So, Chrissy, without spoiling too much, what's one perspective or insight you hope to bring to the Outlaw SEO discussion in Vienna?
Well, I think let's see. I'm not too sure what Johan and Cora will be talking about in the panel, and I'm curious what I can add to the discussion. And basically, I'm excited to see what others consider outlaw. Like, am I being on the
Mm.
conservative side or am I running with the savages? Like, that will be very exciting for me. And yeah, I think like you've seen my approach to things, it's basically the outlaw thing is a lot about testing things and maybe go to the limit of testing things, but I don't know how others see it, and so I'm very interested in to see other perspectives on the outlaw part of SEO.
I'm sure it will be a great discussion. So I'm really looking forward to hear what the other people think about the law and what they can share with us. So, Chrissy, we will see you in October in Vienna. Thank you so much for this time, and hope to see you then in 1 month only. So yeah, yeah, I see you. I will see you in Vienna. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Bye.
Bye.
From the power of testing to the art of making complex topics simple, she has given us a masterclass in what it means to be both a strategist and a storyteller in SEO. Thanks again, Christiane, and thank you everyone for watching. This has just been a preview, so if you want to hear Christian and the other members of the panel Outlaw SEO, don't miss CERConf Vienna 2025. I'll be there as an ambassador, and I can promise it will be an event that challenges you, inspires you, and equips you for the next chapter of search. Thank you everyone for watching, and see you soon.